Hello and welcome to Concepts of a Podcast. We don't have a podcast, we have concepts of a podcast. Feel free to like, subscribe, and follow us on YouTube. Feel also to rate us 5 stars, like, and do our poll question on Spotify. All right. So this, and also if that doesn't work for you, also feel free to send us an email at conceptsofapodcast@gmail.com if you have any feedback. So this is going to be our episode 10, Developmental Disappointments, where we talk about our top 5 disappointing games. My name is Cowboy Bebop Crew.
I'm Apex Dova.
Let's get into it. All right, where do you want to
All
start?
right, let's start with the one that we both mutually agree is like hella disappointing. Super Smash Brothers Brawl. That might ruffle some feathers, but yeah, that was the definition, at least in my opinion, after Melee, the definition of a disappointing game. And just for clarity, context, disappointing games, at least in my mind, is games that had like hype, high expectations, and not only did they fail to meet them, they just like failed to meet them to a huge extent. So, yeah, I would say at least with Super Smash Bros. Brawl, it was like the reason, at least for me, why part of the reason why it's so disappointing is coming from Melee. Let's just start with tripping. Tripping is like the dumbest design decision I've ever heard of in my entire life. Because, like, for starters, it fails to accomplish what it sets out to do because, like, a pro player that knows about tripping will work around tripping and then it's not going to affect them at all. It'll only affect new players. And the idea of tripping was to kind of like level the playing field. And it's like, no, it's just something the pros going to be aware of that new players are not going to be aware of and know how to work around. So, what do you think? Yeah.
So for me, it was disappointing on a large scale for multiple reasons. Some of them that you've already mentioned. One of them is, again, it came on the heels of Smash Brothers Melee, which is honestly probably their masterpiece, master level development game. You know what I mean? Literally, that game improved upon the original Smash Brothers practically in every single regard. So then, like you said, they added tripping, a random element to cause players to just fall and basically be vulnerable to attack. Like, no reason to add that. The other
Yeah.
thing is, like, I think the other issue was, honestly, if we had to go into it, I mean, don't get me wrong, it added a lot of new characters to the roster. It added Solid Snake, it added Metalite, it added Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, people were super excited about that. We're like, oh my God, new characters. You know what I mean? In order for the tier list to be super busted in the favor of Meta Knight, Meta Knight basically was a busted character in that game. He basically had every tool you could possibly give him. That also broke the game and kind of made it so that people practically don't play the game anymore. But I will give it this. Its single player mode was kind of interesting. And again, it also had online play for the first time, which is kind of nice. But like overall, the game was kind of a huge disappointment.
Yeah, even the Subspace Emissary, that's another aspect of it that makes it a disappointing game for me because I'm like, the premise is so cool, but they did something with it, but it wasn't like I feel like they could have done so much more interesting stuff with that premise. They kind of just like, okay, it almost feels like the bare minimum, but maybe
I
maybe
I think
that's a
my
little
one
too
issue with
extreme, but
Subspace Emissary is that it dragged on.
yeah,
Because again, like once you finish it the first time, you're like, okay, like that I'm good. You know what I mean? You don't really want to go back and do it like multiple times over.
yeah. There's not too many interesting, like, oh, I would have never thought those characters would interact in that way. It's like, and that's kind of what you're hoping for with Subspace Emissary. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, that's
Kind of obnoxious.
yeah, kind of obnoxious. The loss of wave dashing was kind of sad as well, going from Melee to Brawl. Um, that just goes back to Nintendo's philosophy of just anti-fun, I guess, anti-skill, anti I don't know.
Competition.
Yeah, anti-competition. I mean,
Yeah.
there was that and wave dashing, or no, wave dashing, erasure, and tripping kind of tied into like the whole anti-competitiveness.
Yep.
But yeah, it was a hot mess overall.
Agreed.
Yeah,
All right. So my game, since we both had Brawl as one of our games, my
that was number
game,
one. Yeah,
my
yeah,
my next one, my number two, is going to be Resident Evil 6. And honestly, I shouldn't even have to explain this. I feel like most people who are Resident Evil fans should know why this game was largely disappointing. But for the people who don't play Resident Evil games, I'll explain it for you. So you have Resident Evil 4, which was literally a masterclass level game. Resident Evil 4 is a game that literally probably most Resident Evil fans either went through that game multiple times or they bought it on multiple different platforms and went through that game multiple times. I was one
yeah,
of the latter where literally I bought it on GameCube, I bought it on Xbox, I think I might have bought it on PlayStation and literally
yeah.
completed it and what is it?
The Wii
I
version.
think the Wii version and literally played all of those games. Literally beat it every single time. Even bought the remake, still working on it though. But
Yeah,
like Resident Evil 5 wasn't probably to the same caliber as Resident Evil 4, but it was still darn good. Like it was
yeah.
still a respectable, very good Resident Evil game in the vein of Resident Evil 4. And so when you got your expectations that high, where you're like master level game followed by master level game, and then you're like, oh man, this is gonna be good, and then you get hot doo doo butter.
Why was because I tried to play six. I got pretty far. I got like maybe halfway through. I don't know exactly, but it was probably like halfway through. So I saw a significant part of the story, met multiple characters and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was like disappointing all the way through. But like, what really like disappointed you about Resident Evil 6?
What really disappointed me about Resident Evil 6?
Yes, like
I
did
think
you finish it,
honestly,
for example?
I think the story was like all over the place. I felt like the constantly shifting perspectives could have been done better. I felt
Yeah,
like the gameplay was serviceable. It wasn't great. But then I felt like the other piece of it was like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5 felt like not only survival horror type games, they also felt like adventure games and games that literally you could play the way you wanted. You would customize your weapons, you would like search the area for treasure. You would combine those treasures to sell it and make more money so that you could buy new things so that you could upgrade your weapons and upgrade your cachet cases so that you could carry more
yeah.
things. Like it was an act. It felt like a game. You know what I mean? Resident Evil 6. What was I even playing? You know
Was
what I
I
mean?
even playing anything?
Like what was that? I know some people sometimes want to like get off the beaten path and try something new, but I'm like, you didn't need to recreate the wheel for this one. Like we loved Resident Evil 4, we loved Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 6 was an abomination in my opinion.
I guess that's just the risk of, going off the beaten path, which, I at least respect developers when they try that. Everything they do can't be winners if they're going to be willing to take risks like that. So,
The other thing is like I
yeah.
feel like you gotta balance the idea of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but
Yeah.
also maybe adding a little bit of spice so that people are like, okay, cool, it's like a little bit fresh, you know what I mean? Like some fresh concepts to it, but like the core gameplay mechanics, I'm not gonna get into a particular game that's on your list, but don't change it. But anyway,
Yeah. All right. So my second game, um, it's kind of a niche game. I don't know how well known this game is. Played it in college. I think it came out like 04, 05 ish. Indigo Prophecy. Um, if you know, you know. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you liked it. But my biggest gripe with the game, it was this game, if I remember correctly, where you kind of managed your mood, emotions in game. So like you had like a bar, and like as events in the game happen, you would go like higher mood, or you'd be more depressed, and like yeah, you'd be like your affect would change or whatever. But the biggest thing that killed it for me was you play the game, and then like 75% of the way through the game, there's just this arbitrary event that's just like, boom, kills all your meter. It's like, so like everything I did before was meaningless. Like, why did I play this game? Like, if they at least started the game there, that probably would have been passable because like, okay, well, you started a game here, and then I build up from here. But like, all my progress in managing just meaningless at this point. And I did think and suspect when I was thinking about this, maybe it's like it's not like a instantly like overwhelmed. It's like you take 50% of your mood bar in damage. So if you played well and were at 100%, then you go down to a certain level. But whatever it was just it was dumb and it was arbitrary and it was stupid. So that
Yeah.
killed the game for me.
Yeah, and the thing is, it did have a lot of good gameplay mechanics, a lot of novel gameplay mechanics and storytelling techniques. But yeah, I agree with you. That was kind of absurd that they did that or made that decision to do that in the game. It's just like,
Yeah,
but why though?
yeah, but why though? And no way to like make up for it. Yeah, it's just like yeah. So
You know?
Indigo Prophecy, don't play it. That's my second game.
Oh man. So my third one, and I'm pretty sure if you know, you know. Again, Mass Effect 3. Like
Oh yeah,
Mass Effect 1, really, really good game. Maybe not perfect, but it was a good game in terms of storytelling, gameplay, character development. Really, really good game. I mean, the Mako driving kind of sucked, and people, don't get me wrong, hated on that, and for good reason. It was kind of clunky, kind of janky, but like again, not a perfect game, but still a very
yeah,
good game. Mass Effect 2, maybe not as good as Mass Effect 1, arguably, maybe better in some people's opinions, but still, generally speaking, a good game. You know what I mean? Good storytelling, and you're leading up to the conclusion, right? So you're like, oh, cool,
yeah.
we're getting there, we're getting there. Mass Effect 3, its story, up to a certain point, you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then the endings, basically, and I'm not joking about this, you basically got either a blue ending or a red ending. Like, all of it boiled down. All of your decisions, whether characters lived or died, ended the same exact way. Everything basically was just either a blue highlighting or a red highlighting. And it's just like, seriously? I went through multiple games, spent like hundreds of hours, like over the span of years, to end up with a nothing burger? None of this
Yeah.
mattered? Yo, what? You know what I mean? Like, that's
With two different colors, basically. How it's happening.
exactly. And it's just like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Like, BioWare, please.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I'm wondering what you think about that in the context of like what BioWare has done before. Um, do you think they like failed to do what they could have done in the past?
is this a safe space?
Yeah, it's a safe space.
If this is a
Safe
safe
space.
space, I think BioWare has lost their way. I mean, if you look at
Ooh,
like Dragon Age Origins, if you look at that type of game, and then you look at like, for example, Dragon Age 2, or you look at some of these other games that they produce, you're like, I don't know if you lost your writers. I don't know, like, if you just want to focus on action-based games or something, and you don't really care so much about the story anymore. Like,
maybe
I don't
like
know.
new
Maybe you
directing
guys
and
got
stuff like
tired and
that.
lazy at the end. Wait, what?
Maybe like new directing, something like that.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe new directing. I don't know. But either way, it's just like it just seemed weird to me that Mass Effect 3 was kind of like it kind of built itself up story wise, and then literally the end, it's like, did you run out of resources? Did your writers like go on strike? Like, what happened with the ending of Mass Effect 3? I'm just like, literally, you built up all this hype, you built up all this like expectation, then you just drop the ball literally at the end. It's wild.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's gotta be awful, especially after investing so much time as a player and like because I did play Mass Effect. I didn't play one, but I did play two and three, and the whole ending sucked. Um, it wasn't as like disappointing for me because I didn't have as much investment, but yeah, it sucked.
oh, yeah, it
I
was
think they
horrible.
did patch it or something too, right afterwards.
I don't think they did, but maybe I'm wrong. I literally, after I got that ending, I forgot about that game. That game literally went into the recesses of my mind.
I
Like,
think I don't know if they added much more to it, but I think maybe I'm misremembering. I can't remember, but it's neither
but I
here nor
will
there.
I will say
Yeah.
one thing that was really good about that game, unexpectedly, was their multiplayer mode. Their multiplayer mode was solid, not gonna lie.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, that's all I got on that game. Honestly, I'm like,
All
Mass
right.
Effect 3 is trash.
So my third game is, I guess, a work in progress. It's also a three-part series, which has not been finished yet. And I've mentioned it before in previous episodes, but
Oh,
Final
geez.
Fantasy VII Remake. I'm just gonna say it hasn't finished, but I don't think any kind of ending for this could salvage it at this point. But just the idea that it's like three games, so people are gonna be paying what, $210 for a remake of one game, and it's already disappointing in the second one, the first one. So it's, I think what's disappointing about it, based on my expectations, is um I'm sorry, I got to compare it to Baldur's Gate 3, which is not fair, but it is what it is. But also, like, I do applaud it for, like, I love the idea of games being remade, like remake idea, not remaster, remake, where it's like you take a game and remake it with modern game design and philosophy and techniques and stuff like that. I like that idea, but they took too much liberty of deviating away from what made Final Fantasy VII special. If that makes sense. Even though I enjoyed the combat in the remake, but I think what also disappointed me was the fact that like data didn't carry over between games. Like that that's that's just lazy. Like
It's
yeah,
egregious.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just egregious. Like yeah, it's horrible. There's
I
basically
think
yeah. Go ahead.
I think the main issue with Final Fantasy VII Remake for me is, again, if we want to talk about disappointing, it's about the expectations. When we all heard about Final Fantasy VII Remake, in our heads, the people who played the game and loved the game and like basically was like requesting this game to be remade for the longest time, we were expecting a like one-to-one remake. We were expecting a remaster, not a game that was reworked in terms of story. And then when we found out, oh, it's kind of Kingdom Heartsy, it's very action based, we're like, okay, you're still gonna hopefully follow the same story, right? You're gonna follow the same story, right? Nah.
Anakin.
Yeah. No. They played us. They literally
Yeah.
reworked the story to a point where we're like, we don't even recognize this. Like, what is this? Like, what am I playing? I didn't ask for this, is the problem.
And there was a
Like,
bunch of like they dragged it. Like they added so much random extra stuff to try to flesh it out as a game. I understand trying to flesh out the world. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Cause like I saw the remake as like maybe them trying to make like maybe they were limited in their ability in the past with FF7. So this is the Final Fantasy they always would have wanted to make. But like they added a bunch of extra stuff and they were they deviated too much from what made FF7 original special.
yeah,
Because when you compare it to like Resident Evil 4 remake, even though they changed a bunch of stuff, little like plot points here and there, and gameplay and stuff, it still maintained or captured the spirit of what made Resident Evil 4 special. You know, it still felt
man.
like Resident Evil 4.
It's funny
So
that you mentioned that this is the game that they would have wanted to make because, like, I sit there, I'm like, you have more resources now, and this game is worse. I almost want to be like, old school Square made this game in a cave with a box of scraps.
lots of scraps.
And then you're sitting there and you got millions of dollars of resources that you're throwing at this game. And the game is like, don't get me wrong, if it weren't Final Fantasy branded, I would probably, if it weren't Final Fantasy 7 branded, I'd probably think this game is decent. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
it wasn't related to the original story or trying to rework the original story, I'd be like, oh, you know what? This isn't that bad. But when you're trying to paste Final Fantasy 7 on top of it, I'm like, come on, man, this is trash. Don't give
Yeah.
us this. Like,
I think I should at least throw out this disclaimer though. I always wanted to play Final Fantasy VII as a kid, but I didn't have a PS5 or PlayStation as a kid. So I didn't play Final Fantasy VII until later in life. Much later. Full disclosure, I didn't play it till after I played the remake. But um even going back and playing FF7, like, yeah, the remake was terrible. I'm probably gonna get flamed for that, but whatever.
yeah,
All right,
as you
so
should.
that's I should. Yeah, if you want to flame me, email me at concepts. That's the podcast that you
Wow.
were like, all right. So what's your was it fourth game?
All right. My fourth game. All right. My fourth game is a Souls like. All right. So these are
Okay.
games that are basically being made to be similar to the Souls-born games. So like Dark Souls, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Demon Souls, Sekiro, Bloodborne, Elden Ring, whatever, right? This
Souls
game
game
is
that's
called,
not made by the Souls developer. Yeah.
yes, it's not made by the same developer FromSoft. This game is Code Vein, right? And so my problem is, again, it's an anime Souls like, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, I'm assuming you're probably gonna copy their homework, right? Because you know how successful, the Soulsborne games are, right? The problem with Code Vein is they copied their homework wrong. They got the wrong answers. Hits don't feel like they have any weight to them. You can't play the game you want to. You have to basically do so much cross-class stuff that you can't really enjoy playing as a pure mage because apparently they made it so that you actually have to do physical hits to get your magic back. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
why would you do that? What's the point is starting off or even being a mage at that point? Like you might as well just be a melee character if you got to get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just like come on. And then the other thing is the story was just like you know what I mean? Like overall it was just like a very I don't know, bland Souls-like game and I expected
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. If you're gonna copy the Souls formula, like even when you think about like, I mean, I started with Dark Souls, but so I'll start with there referencing Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls is so well made. Like you could you could play it as like Unga Bunga,
Mhm.
barbarian, dual wielding heavy weapons, or a mage, completely different play styles. You know, you
Yep.
have your own challenges based on your character, and it felt like completely different experiences, and it's still like just all in one game.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the game
yeah,
is literally phenomenal because literally, like you said, people can play it any way they want. They can go pure archer, they could go no
Archer,
hit
yeah,
runs, they could do it so many different ways. And it's just like, again, this speaks to how well made this game actually is, how well thought out this game actually is. And it's like some of the souls, like, and don't get me wrong, there's some souls like, even though they're not perfect, they're like serviceable. Like, I hate to say it, I'm gonna throw it out there. Lords of the Fallen. Like not a great game by any measure, but it's still like serviceable. Like Code Vein, I'm just like, come on, man. Like, did you even
yeah.
play this?
If you're a Souls like fan, you'll probably be disappointed. Probably be disappointed with Code Vein.
100%.
So
All
yeah.
right. That's all I got.
Uh, my next game, my penultimate game, Elder Scrolls Online. Now I'm gonna make some frankly unfair disparaging remarks against it because it's like, well, that's like the same like every MMO, but whatever, it is what it is. It stood out, and I didn't like it in Elder Scrolls Online. Let's see, what did I say? Like I remember playing Elder Scrolls Online, and this is gonna sound so dumb when this is literally what every MMO does, but for Elder Scrolls Online, it felt bad. But like the idea that like there were a bunch of what like chosen ones, you know, like the idea that like, I'm the chosen one, but then there's like millions of other chosen ones. Um, it just Elder Scrolls, it came off bad in Elder Scrolls because like I know like one of my favorite games, FF14, they do the same thing, but at least in FF14, like the lore kind of says like, oh, these are other adventurers that are helping you, and it's not saying there are other like chosen ones, but like it's so that lore aspect kind of disappointed me and turned me off. But the biggest thing is like I played through Elder Scrolls Online and I beat the base story, and then when I got into the end game, like maybe no one was doing early end game dungeons or something, but like I couldn't finish the dungeons because like people wouldn't join, couldn't get enough players. Like it was just horrible. But really, my biggest gripe is Elder Scrolls just works very well as a single player game. It's not broken. Don't fix it. Like, yeah, that's my biggest hang up.
Yeah, and that's fair. I
Yeah.
mean, from a story perspective, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I think was it that game that was fairly buggy, or was it Fallout
Oh yeah, it was also
76?
fairly buggy as well.
I
So
was, I
it
was about to
was
say
it.
because I remember it being super buggy at some point. I'm just like,
Yeah, I think I played the was it the beta or something, and I remember falling through the level, and I mean it's a Bethesda game, so
wow, shots fired, man.
it was like it had a little bit too much Bethesda in it. But
Where's the
yeah, it
lie
was
though?
yeah. But yeah, basically I was just like it was I don't know, maybe it's been fixed since then, but I think that also came about after Skyrim. And what was also weird lore wise was like this was after Skyrim. It took place I think 200 years before Skyrim. Maybe I'm misremembering. I don't know. I think it took place before Skyrim, but there were still dragons and stuff, even though the Elder Scrolls lore said they were prophesied to appear, and then the prophecy was fulfilled in Skyrim. So it was weird. No, I think this took place 1,000 years before Skyrim, if I remember correctly. It was weird, but they had dragons. I'm just like, this is weird.
Okay,
So, yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
that's yeah. So
My
your
last
last
game.
game,
All right, so my last game. Whatever. You guys are gonna hate me for this. I really don't care. Final Fantasy 13, and let me explain why. So basically, this was the first mainline Final Fantasy game on like the PS3 and Xbox 360, if I remember correctly. It had a new graphics engine, and so there was a lot of hype. You know what I mean? Because again, it's a Final Fantasy game. Final Fantasy is a name brand name. Like, how bad could it be? And the thing is, when you hear Final Fantasy, a lot of times you think of, oh, like it's not going to be super linear. It's going to be a lot of exploration and figuring things out. Nah. Final Fantasy 13 basically was a Final Fantasy game on rails basically up until the end game. At the end game, you basically got to a planet where basically you could kind of like walk all over the planet and kind of like do what you wanted. But it was
Grand
just,
Pulse.
yeah, Grand Pulse, where basically you could just run around, do missions, kill monsters, grind as much as you wanted to. It just was just, I don't know, just not great. The story was decent. The gameplay was pretty good, I guess. I'll give it that. Um, but it just too linear and not
It
what
was too
anybody
linear
really
for too
expected.
long.
Yeah, for way too long.
Yeah.
Um, but and then the characters were kind of like meh, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That
I
was it for
played it.
me.
Yeah, it was I wouldn't I probably wouldn't say it's like it was I wouldn't say it's like disappointing, like terribly disappointing. The linearity was really disappointing. Um I mean I had my experience with the game. The game was weird. I just remember like getting to the final boss and I think there were like three final bosses, if I remember
I think
correctly.
so.
The second one was like the hardest version or the hardest part in that boss fight. And I remember like this was just my personal experience. I'm just like, this is so dumb because the boss had like an instant kill move, which had a random chance of targeting your party leader. I forget what they're called, commanders or something. And if
Yeah.
they got hit, they would die and you lose. So it's just like that boss fight, you had a random chance of just losing. Just you had no control. I'm just that's stupid. Um, I remember it was kind of funny though, because I was like trying to show the boss to my brother. I'm like, this is so stupid. I can't beat this boss. And then I just happened to beat it when he was watching. I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird, but but yeah, um, yeah. That game it was kind of disappointing, and it's kind of crazy that it had what is it 2 continuing stories, 13-2 and versus 13 or something like
13-3.
that.
Yeah,
13-3 or
Lightning
something like Lightning
Returns,
Return.
and I
Yeah.
forget what the third one's called.
Yeah, I think the
Or
third
maybe
one was Lightning Returns, right?
maybe the second one wasn't. Yeah, what was the second one? I
Yeah,
can't remember. Final Fantasy
13-2.
13-2. Maybe it didn't have
Yeah,
one.
but yeah. Okay, so this is the last game. My last game, let's see, it is Overwatch 2. My biggest complaint with that, which is not relevant anymore, but at the time, it was the fact that like new characters were locked behind a paywall or the battle pass or something. Like they weren't launched for everyone at launch. You would have to like either play through the game to unlock them or pay upfront to unlock them. And the reason it's a complaint for me is because, especially in ranked, the competitive game, like you want things to be balanced. Like the whole beauty of Overwatch was like it was balanced in that like everyone had access to everything. So like, your team just had to figure out how to use the tools you had. But like if you start introducing paywalls for advantage or extra tools, you just inherently disrupt that balance.
Yeah.
So that was
The other
fixed. Oh, go
Okay.
ahead.
The other issue is a lot of times when they release DLC characters, a lot of times those DLC characters are kind of OP in the beginning and they end up getting toned down or balanced that down like in the future, you know what I mean, over time. So that's why I'm just like, again, to put it behind a paywall and then only certain people who've paid for it get like these OP, potentially OP characters. It's just like, come on, man. Like, and the thing is, the
Yeah.
other thing is, it's about the expectation. You created a game structure with Overwatch 1 where you gave us all this content for free after buying the game. Like,
Yeah.
now we got to pay for it? And, like, maybe that's
Yeah.
an entitled gamer opinion, but I'm just like, dude, like,
You
come
should have
on,
made us pay
bro.
for Overwatch too. And then, I don't know.
And
But
then on
then,
top of that,
and
you
then,
erased Overwatch 1.
oh yeah, that's what
Unexpected.
another one of my gripes. We lost Overwatch 1. They robbed us. They basically just knocked us over and took our money.
Where's that
It's
class
like,
action lawsuit, bro?
yeah, there
Oh,
should needs to
man.
be some kind of repercussions. I mean, yes, you could argue, well, you kept all your stuff and stuff, but like, what if you still wanted to just play Overwatch 1 and not play Overwatch 2? Like, yeah, you robbed us. I had one other point. Let's see. Oh, also, this was kind of annoying for me. My rank sucked in Overwatch in general for my own reasons. Um, but the fact that like you weren't starting over in Overwatch 2, it continued your rank in Overwatch 1 was kind of dumb. And then also the basically non-existent PvE mode we were promised, which I mean, I would have loved that, but yeah,
Same.
that fell through and never happened. So it's just everything went downhill after I think Kaplan left. Jeff
Yeah.
Kaplan.
Jeff Kaplan was the soul of Overwatch, bro.
Yeah, which
Uh,
is sad.
all right.
All right.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, as far as disappointing games, what are you guys' disappointing games? Like, I'm sure things came to mind, so yeah, did you agree with any of this stuff? Let's
Feel free
see.
to post your own disappointing games in the comments. I'm curious what
Yes.
people are going to throw out.
Yes. And what games shouldn't we play because of this list? Yeah, but anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode. Please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. Comment, answer the poll. The poll will probably be about like a list of disappointing games or something. And feel free to email feedback to conceptsofapodcast@gmail.com. And there is, I mean, if I haven't checked the email in a while, but the idea is to create an email list, which is another way to notify people. But yeah, I'm Apex Dova.
I'm Cowboy Bebop Crew.
This is episode 10, Disappointing Games, and we're out.
All right.
Peace.